not going to believe what I figured out how to solve the water problem in the United States and all over the world. The gas, the oil, the drought, the global warming. Is there global? I don't know. But wouldn't it make sense if when you went and got your food and vegetables from the grocery store, you got it from someone local? Maybe someone a couple hundred miles, maybe? Kind of close? What if I told you a lot of America gets their vegetables all the way from Mexico? Isn't that what this is down here? Is that what that dot is? Why? Global trade? Maybe it's cheaper to buy stuff from places like Mexico. I have nothing wrong with that. But does it make sense that if you live in New York City, you get your tomatoes all the way from Tacoma, Washington, Seattle, Walla Walla, Tri-Cities, Washington, Spokane, Washington? That seems kind of crazy to me. Imagine the amount of diesel that's used when you drive from Seattle to New York just to bring some fresh veggies over. Does that make any sense? How about all the way from Baja, Mexico, or the middle of Mexico? It doesn't make any sense. What if we could solve that problem? Because remember, we also have a major water problem here in America, all across the world, mostly the West Coast in America, but we also got it coming in the center. Even the motherland, the heartlands, they're lacking water this year. Their lakes are getting low. That doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't be happening, but it's happening. Whatever the reason, I've got the one solution that pretty much cures most of the problems. In fact, if we fix this one thing, it might give us another 2x our time of utilities, minerals, ozone left. I don't know. I really think it's possible. What am I getting at? Vertical farming. What? Yeah, you can get vertical farming and put it anywhere. Downtown New York, at all these empty restaurants that are now out of business because the owners moved to Florida, you can buy those old warehouses and start a vertical farm in that warehouse. You don't even need to buy the best, perfect, soiled land in America or the world. You can do it in some random warehouse, all while using way less energy, which is crazy. You can even use solar, right? And your diesel output is way lower. You don't even have to run tractors. Think about how crazy that is. You can also use 98% less water. Because remember, when you have a farm and it's outside and it's not in the perfect conditions, you're burning through water like crazy. Because what? The sun, the atmosphere, the ecosystem, you just use a ton of water. But when you have vertical farming, you don't even need that. I'm going to tell you about the cleanest lettuce on earth. Do you think that's pretty hot? I think that's pretty hot. This is Lake Mead right now. This is one of the bigger lakes in America, man-made, through a all-natural river, the Colorado River. This is what it looks like now. Does that look like an awesome lake to you? It doesn't look like an awesome lake to me. This looks like a sunken ship that someone's living in now at the bottom of a lake. That could all be solved by vertical farming, and then some. How about the electricity problems the whole world is having right now, right? Maybe some geopolitical problems that are causing it. It's more than that, right? Because we're making rules that are making it so you can't even have like coal plants running, right? People still need energy though. Did you know like a lot of the East Coast, New York, New Jersey, they use diesel byproduct to heat their houses, whether they know it or not. That's why when America's lacking diesel, which last time I checked, it was like 15 days left of diesel left. It's a big problem because if you ain't got a heater in New York, I don't know if y'all ever seen what it looks like in New York in the wintertime, but it's not a place I'd want to be living at all. How about you? Electricity is a big issue. Now, we've done videos on uranium. What would that do? That would make it so we can have nuclear reactors, nuclear energy. I think that's the macro big picture we definitely still need too. But I'm thinking right now, if we really wanted to start this tomorrow, we can do it. In fact, it's already happening, but nobody's talking about it, man. Nobody. We've been talking about it for years. Are you talking about it? Are you ready? One of the other big problems that's going on macro right now is fertilizers. What? Yeah, so the stuff that makes old school farms work efficiently and cheaply is GMO, genetically modified seeds, plants, dirts, all that. But also, what is it? The fertilizers, which have some of the GMO stuff in it too, but then maybe some bad stuff. I don't know. A lot of the phosphates are also hurting the water problem. Okay? Because a lot of the phosphates that are used, the fertilizers that are used for crops, they run off to rivers like the Colorado River we're talking about above, which ends up in where? Lake Mead. And what happens? The oxygen levels rise in these waterways, which then what? Kills fish. It increases the amount of sucker junk fish, quote unquote, that you don't want in your lakes. And it also increases algae growth, the bad algae though, right? The stuff where it's like, why is this algae all the way at the bottom of this lake, but it's all the way at the top now? And you can't even swim in these certain coves anymore on your local lake. It doesn't matter if you're in Idaho or Montana or Salt Lake City. Does Salt Lake City even have a lake there with water in it anymore? I don't know. But how come all this algae growth is coming? It's from the fertilizer. Fertilizers are a problem. I get that. But in order for the supply chains to get fixed, all these farmers that are around right now are going to get screwed unless they switch over and move over to something like vertical farming. Okay? It's just not, it doesn't make any sense. We are decades behind on this, and we don't need to be. We've talked about how India is like even leading this thing like crazy, and they're doing a heck of a job. They're investing billions into indoor farming. It only makes sense, right? No fertilizer that causes health problems, okay? So fertilizers do cause health problems. You can look at 20,000 billion research papers out there, lots of fertilizers, GMO stuff, it does. It is what it is, okay? It's gonna cause health problems. What if we could eliminate that? Even the health side of it. Less energy, save water, okay? You ever seen this guy? This is my Uncle Mike. You can maybe grow some weird body parts in certain body places you didn't know was possible. I've never asked, but I think I am next Christmas party. Are we gonna be able to hear it a little bit better? Is he gonna still be complaining about the music and how high it is all the time? I don't know, Frank. Look at this. Here is fertilizer important dependency. If you don't know what's going on right now, well, there's a lot of drama going on with Russia. Russia exports a lot of commodities. What are commodities? Stuff you can grab, touch, and mine out of the earth, pull out of the earth, grow out of the earth, stuff like that. Stuff like fertilizers, phosphates, nitrogen producing things. So what happens when a place like Russia and China have a huge share of imported and domestic produced fertilizer? But then you have a place like Brazil and Canada that don't really produce that much. But then all of a sudden, it's illegal for places like Canada to import from where? Places that have all of it. So how is Canada going to get its fresh veggies? Mexico? Does that really make logistical sense to you at all? Here's dependency. Did you know Mexico? Everyone thinks, I was just talking about Mexico does what? Grows a lot of agriculture. Can you believe that they don't have a lot of fertilizer though? Mexico gets, how much is this? 28% of their fertilizers from imports. That is crazy. Even Brazil, Indonesia, even the United States is ranked up there, number 4. We're dependent on Russia and China for our fertilizers, but guess what? We don't need them as much if we went to indoor farming. So why do all these old school farms still exist? I'll let you figure that out. Maybe there's something even more macro I don't understand. But charts like this make no sense to me. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm going to bring up a ticker here that blew my mind. I missed this one. This one went to the stock market via SPAC. Hold on. It's not $10 and it's already de-SPAC and is probably the cheapest SPAC I've ever seen de-SPAC'd. All right, less risk. It's not $10. Hold on a second. What do we got going on here? So they're kind of in trouble because their stock is trading under $1, under $1 right now. Launched at $10, de-SPAC'd, and it has just been floor shooting all the way down to the dirt. Well, they have a solution for that. All I gotta do is have a vote. And in the vote, basically what the vote is on December 15th is, hey, can we do a split? Remember that? Share split, kind of like all the cool kids are doing now? Didn't Apple and Tesla just do that? Well, these guys can do it kind of the opposite way though, okay? That you need to maintain a certain optical dollar amount for your share price to stay on where, like stuff like the bougie NASDAQ, NYSE, stuff like that. So if this vote goes through, a lot of these don't go through the first time, just like in most of these votes, not till people freak out and then they're like, oh, it didn't go through, now we gotta have a revote. So there is risk here. This can get delisted. Chances are, in my opinion, it ain't gonna happen because I don't think I've ever seen that happen. They've got a business that's actually running, things are good. I haven't even got to that part yet, have I? Ticker is KAL for me, KAL, Caleras. How did I miss this? We were hoping for App Harvest, but looks like we got this one. I'm glad I missed this one because I probably would have bought it at what, 7, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1, and thinking I was getting a good deal. So I'm glad I didn't know about it till now. But look at this footprint that they have, vertical indoor farming. Largest geographic footprint of any indoor farmer. These guys are huge. This is not just a hope and a dream. Operational farms. We have Denver, Houston, Atlanta, Orlando coming under construction. St. Paul, Minnesota, Seattle, Washington. Construction postponed because they're in certain jurisdictions. Columbus and Honolulu. That's interesting. Isn't that interesting? Don't you think the people who would be voting in those places would be for something like indoor farming? Because it's green? Why is that? I don't know, man. At least they talked Seattle into it, right? A little bit of November, Denver. But look at this. They're even going across the ponds. Germany, Kuwait, Singapore. This is huge. Huge. They currently have 10 million pound capacity of greens and aims to have 15 million plus capacity by the end of next year. That's 50%. It's huge growth. Here's some brands you might have heard of. Kroger. That's the only one I would have needed to see, but here's people doing business with US Foods, United Airlines, Delta, HEB, HEB, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Hard Rock Cafe. Are they still in business? Marriott. Okay, this isn't just pipe dream. They're in it. But look at this. So right now we have living lettuce, leaf salads, baby leaf herbs, and microgreens. All right, not the coolest maybe to some people, but look at this. It's cooler. They also have like the grab and go salads. Now they're showing meat in here. I'm guessing they don't grow that in a vertical farm, but I think that's a great segment because those grab and go salads, maybe they'll start getting into like some franchising stuff with that alone for some place. Like why doesn't like Target have that? Maybe they do. Maybe Target does have them. They already have these salad meal kits they want coming too. Where it comes with like the salad dressing. I think those are kind of lame, but if they sell, fantastic. This one was really interesting to me. Plant Pharma. Talked about the mushroom stuff and all the other, all natural herby stuff or whatever. They're going to get into that. That's a huge market. Now, they didn't specifically say the MJ stuff, which is fine. They're probably trying to keep themselves clean until stuff is like 100% legal on that. I know it is in some states. I bet we'll hear from that in the future, but I don't see the wording yet on there, but I could see it. We also got berries coming. Who doesn't like multi-berry pie, blueberry pie, huckleberries, strawberries? Come on. Then we got tomatoes and peppers coming. That is huge, man. So they don't even have that section yet. What if I told you these guys are already profiting? They're already profiting. They're at net positive. That is insane, y'all. Clear gaining traction in U.S. retailers, you know, Fred Meyer, Trader Joe's. There's all Fred Meyer love out there. They're a Safeway. But get this, we also get this, which is biochemistry side, GMO, non-GMO side. They have a brand called Vendara. Vendara creates seeds specifically designed for use in what? Vertical indoor farming. Are they GMO? Vendara is a wholly owned subsidiary of Calera. Very interesting. Let's keep going here. Check this out. They have done it, and it's done entirely through analytics, not gene editing or GMOs. This is huge. This is like old school crossbreeding, inbreeding, maybe a little bit of both. You know? Win in Arkansas. But look at this. Most places that try this intermingling would take maybe 5 to 7 years. These guys are able to do it because the technology and all that they have in 12 to 18 months. So you can go to them and be like, yo, make me a rainbow looking lettuce head or a tie-dye one. I don't know. Maybe one with more protein in it. Maybe they could then turn that into like a powdered protein. That's huge, y'all. Imagine if they could do that. I want to look into that. Is there a stock we've talked about that already does that? I think there might be. You ready for this? Market cap of $2.1 million. Are you kidding me right now? 2.1 million. Nothing. That is nothing, dude. 0.0859 cents a share. Holy Toledo, bro. It's like sitting at 52-week low. This is where I like to buy stuff. Ticker KAL for me, NASDAQ. The net sales from the last quarter alone were like 75% of their current market cap too. Net, that's profit. Most companies never even net a profit. That is nuts. But look at this. Price to sales, 1.59x. But look at this. How about a float of 87.6 million shares? Which seems pretty low, right? Shares outstanding, 91.9. We're like fully diluted. Oh wait, remember what we were talking about above? It's gonna be a 100-to-1 split, which is gonna get us to like 910,000 shares. Do you think the Penny Moon Bros that lease the Ferraris and the Rolexes, or might be taking them to the pawn shop, do you think that those guys might be interested eventually in something like this? I have a feeling. In fact, SPACs, D-SPACs, are starting to run. And if there's one or two that starts to run, people do what? They start looking for other ones that haven't run yet, and they load them before they make it public. Except for Octopus Money Multiplier. We talk about it before anybody else, right? Look at this ridiculous chart. We got a gap to fill. Even if we just fill this gap, which would take us to the high number of 0.177 cents, 17 cents, we would 95% up on our money. That is nuts. That is just this is so crazy to me. So not only like the cool sector, all that, but it's cheaper and cheap. Now remember, this could get delisted and all that if no one votes on December 15th. So there could be some drama. This could go to 1 cent. It could completely dissolve. But your risk to reward here at 9 cents for a fill, 10 cents for a fill. Are you kidding me? Are there warrants on this? I wonder how cheap those are. I wonder if there's options on here. Probably not. Don't get options on here if there is. But, I mean, just the commons, bro. If you're going to buy a lottery ticket or some dumb stuff from Starbucks or KFC, you might as well buy something from here. Let's fill that gap. Don't worry, I have more for you. Remember App Harvest? These guys actually, dude, this ticker was $40 a share. App Harvest is now like, I don't even know, under five, like $3 a share. APPH, we're moving on to a different ticker now. This is App Harvest. Why App Harvest Inc. is a ripe choice for a turnaround. This is one of those bot articles, which is fine, but this shows just one of their places that App Harvest has here. Right in the heartland of Kentucky. Y'all ever been to Kentucky? Looks pretty to me. This is crazy cool to me. This is just one of their places where they're growing them tomatoes, and the CEO is whooping butt, by the way. They're opening up another location now, I think, and they're already like getting into berries right now. But these guys are way more expensive. I have a little bit of probably all of these myself, but why not put them all in the basket? Y'all remember Mary Tyler Moore? Just throw it in the bag. Throw it in the bag. How about this one? AGRI, Agriforce. Agriforce. AGRI, ticker for me. This one's sitting like $1.20. VWAP would get us to 261, which would 121% our money. I'm buying this one too. This is kind of like the first one more because they have a bunch of patents too, where they do some like gene modification. They also have a big thing for feed for like cows. So think of that level. Like right now, for cows to eat, even especially like grass-fed cows, it's expensive because what? We got to deal with the fertilizer. We got to import the fertilizer. We only get in the grass from a certain place or whatever. These guys can get it. By the way, all these grains are usually cheaper also because they're way more efficient to make and transport because they're right down the corner and not all the way down to Mexico. I lived in Washington for a long time, right? They're known for their apples. You cannot find an apple in Washington from Washington. The biggest growing place in Washington, there's two of them. There's one in the middle and one on the outskirts. In the grocery stores, you look at the sticker, it's from Mexico, all the way up in Washington State. Does that make any sense to you? Why? I'm all for import and export, but there's something wrong here. This just doesn't make any sense. Something does not add up. Now look at this. Agri actually on the 17th, which was Friday, the stock didn't even move because no one's paying attention to it, which is when we like to buy. Agriforce receives notice of allowance related to its 4+ facility from the United States Patent and Trademark Office. What? Say what? 19 claims covering unique features and designs. Transmissive panels that maximize the full light spectrum, enhanced insulation for maximum energy efficiency, and innovative formation of structure support materials. They got tons of patents, dude. Two of these patents, they could end up leasing out to whoever for a long time. Here's a cool factor for them. Commencing development of its first Coachella, Southern California, campus encompassing our state-of-the-art ForskTech Plus 2000 CEA facility. I don't know what that means, but I know it's a Coachella and people know what Coachella is. That's awesome. Now remember, like App Harvest, I think they're still only in Kentucky. They've got like 3 little farms. I don't remember what Agri has. I think we'll get to it here in a second though. Let me shut up till we scroll down. Their float is 11.1 million, which is still nothing. Of 15.7, we're still a baby here. But look at this. Even Agri has got a market cap of 17.9 million, which is still low, but when you're talking about the cow, it's got a market cap of how many X lower? You tell me. I don't know. This is sitting at a 52-week low. I'll buy something rad like this it seems like they're doing okay at 52-week lows all day long. Just dollar cost average. I know it sounds boomer, but you know what? It's time. Everything's like 98% off all-time highs. Oh, buy it, bro. I didn't care. Oh, this was a beautiful article here that was written Saturday or Friday. global agriculture automation and control systems. By the way, a lot of these no humans even have to touch. They've literally got robots. Even like App Harvest is, they've got a bunch of new ones coming out. They're going to be picking the tomatoes off the tomato plant. If you can remove all human out of there, no more worry about disease. Workers' comp. People getting pregnant. People coughing. Wages. People getting backaches and blaming it on the company and suing them and insurance and da-da-da. This is crazy. So I totally agree with this. Even seems small to me, but global agriculture automation and control systems market expected to reach $5.6 billion as an industry as a whole by 2028. That's only 4.5 years away now, isn't it? Something like that, 5 years away, let's call it. That seems so tiny. Even 5.6 billion, that's nothing. But remember, we're talking about some of the bigger ones here, right? These are like one of the bigger ones, and this has only got a market cap of 17.9 million. The other one was 3 million, and they're talking out here 5 billion market cap total. I think we might just multiply here by the time we hit 2028, maybe way before that. What do you think? Have I lost my mind? These guys even have, they're kind of doing the non-gene modification, just the crossbreeding and all that, you know, Arkansas stuff. They're doing it with wheats too. So I didn't have time to look in here. I did have time, but I decided to bust the video out instead. But they have something called Unthink Power Flour, like these super wheats, you know, because most wheats are terrible for you. But they got a patent pending wheat here. Naturally processed, they convert grain, pulses, and roots and vegetables. I don't know what they're doing. But I mean, if you can get spaghetti or pancakes that are actually made out of like straight vegetables instead of wheat, you got the gluten intolerance thing here. There's so many heads on these nails that this all hits. It's just crazy to me. I think I already talked about their price here, but here's the deal. This is an alt play on solar, right? Because these guys use solar panels. In fact, a lot of their automation and their lighting is LED. It's so efficient, saves on energy. So solar is planning to still sky, right? Solar's got a huge future still. Even Elon Musk is doing something with who? The dude who used to own Twitter that wears the tie-dye shirts. Billy Joel Eyes, remember? That guy? Didn't they just buy some land in Texas? What are they doing with it? Did you know anything about that? You should look it up. So technically, this is a solar play too, for sure. I wonder what brand of solar panels they have. Why wouldn't Tesla get into something like this? I'm just saying, like, this is totally got Elon written all over it. If he's actually all ESG and save the world and all that, food. Dude, food more efficiently and less energy and less water. Faster transportation, fresher food on your table. Take it. This is a water play. This is one of the best, if not the best way to invest in water. Big boys have been buying land mostly in South America for water. They used to do it in Texas. Now they own all that. Now they've gone to like places like South America. Can anyone name some elite families that have been buying land in South America just for water? What if we could just solve the problem and not have to import the water from South America? This solves the food problem, the diesel problem, the lack of diesel problem. Think about how much diesel this would cut down. This is also a short on who? Monsanto. What is that? That is the big pharma of fertilizer. This is also a short on Bill Gates. You know, I think Elon might just want to get into this. Can anyone tell me the ties between Bill Gates and Elon Musk? Is traditional farming going to be illegal? What if it already is? Oh, maybe in Europe. You know what? That's right. In Europe, farmers in the Netherlands the Dutch, the Germans, all that. We're gathering for a nitrogen law demonstration. So over there, they flipped a switch and said, hey, hello, farmers. It's now illegal to use the fertilizers that you guys have been using for your whole lives. I know your grandpappy used those fertilizers, and they work, they do, but they're illegal. What happens? There's no vegetables or cow. What are the cows going to eat? They can't eat the grain because there's no grain, right? Because there's no fertilizer for the grain. Is the supply issue hitting the families that are just going to the grocery store trying to buy some food to eat? I think it might. Why is all this coming crashing down at the same time? I'll let you figure that out. But these are some angry farmers that do what? They have been blocking freeways in farmlands with their tractors. If I was a farmer right now, I would sell, or I would just keep the land, lease out most of it, and franchise out a couple of these different vertical farming situations on my land. And guess what? You can use less land because you're going vertical. This is a crazy, crazy play. This is my best ESG play, my best macro, my best commodity play. There's other tickers involved with this. Can you name those? What other ones might be like a side play on this that would contribute to this? Do you think I've completely lost my mind? I think it's the second time I've asked that, but seriously, just let me know. It's hard for me not to be blinded by this for some reason because it just seems like such a no-brainer. I try not to even talk about it. Here I am doing my 7th video on farms like this. I don't know. You let me know. Any more questions, put them down in the comments. I appreciate everyone watching this video. Have a good night.